What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So I'm out here in the shop today and I've got some new batteries for my semi here, and we're going to try something different today. My truck's a little bit different than most. My truck has 8 batteries on it because it has a battery operated APU, and whenever I bought the truck it only had 4 batteries on it, just like a normal truck, on the driver's side, as that's the primary where the shorter cables are, and then it just has a set of cables that runs over to the passenger side. So anyway, I've had a few problems with it starting here lately. In fact, it barely cranked to get in the shop, and I want to replace the batteries on it with deep cycle marine batteries because I think it will work better with the APU unit that I have on there. And the reason I say that is because the marine batteries have thicker plates in them, and they're better for discharge cycles and whatnot. It's like the APU I'll be using. They're not so great for starting, but because I have twice as many of them, in theory it should work, and I should have about the same amount of cranking amps as a normal truck would have with 4 batteries, but twice the reserve capacity. So that's what we're doing today. I've already got the side panels off of the battery boxes over here, and getting ready to take the batteries out. I did some testing the other day, and I discovered that the batteries on the bad side, in fact all 4 of them on the driver's side, tested bad. And I'm not 100% sure if that's correct or not, because sometimes you get a bad connection on your meter and it will give you a false reading. But I definitely know I got 2 or 3 bad, because as I say, the truck barely will crank. I was going to just disconnect all of them on that side until I could get the cables in. The reason I didn't swap the batteries, I had the batteries already in stock. I went and picked those up last week, but the cables, I had to have cables made and shipped to me because the Volvo uses bus bars, and the terminals are different on the marine batteries than on the starting batteries, so I had cables made up. So that's what we're dealing with today. We're going to pull the 4 off of the driver's side and put them on there, because I say it would not start with just 4 because the extra long cables, I guess, running over wouldn't get enough juice to go over. But so we're pulling all the ones off the driver's side, replacing them all with 4 marine batteries. The ones on the passenger side came out of my old truck when I took it off the road, and they are a little newer. I had originally planned to replace all of them at the end of the year, but well, I didn't make it to the end of the year, so I'm gonna put 4 of them on here. And then I already have 1 marine battery on the passenger side that I bought. Well, I guess I had a battery go bad. It was a battery short or something other, and I stuck 1 over here. So we're fixing to put 4 on the other side, and we'll have 1 over here, so it'll be 5, and then we'll have 3 starting batteries that's still in the circuit that'll be replaced later on. So anyway, I'll show you these cables over here in the bus bars and everything we got going on, and how Volvo does this. As you can see here, this is the passenger side. That's the front tire there. And this is the bus bars I'm talking about. And you see how these starting batteries, this is the marine battery I put in there. You see how the terminals are different. It's a little bit offset. It's a smaller terminal right there. I had these cables here already, and I had some more made over here so that I can swap these out. And these are the cables I had made here. They're 2-aught copper cables with 5/16 ends that they made these up and shipped them to me. It was, I don't know, a little over $100. I don't remember the exact odd numbers, $100 and something for these cables here. I had these made at a place, I think it was Battery Cables, Battery Cable USA, or something like that. Just do a Google search. I'm sure you will come up with it. They have a drop-down box. You can go and have pretty much any length cable that you may need like this, and you can pick different size end terminal diameters for your different size stud diameters. You can see that's a 5/16, so you can get them 3/8 or whatever you may be working with there. So that's what I chose to do. Way I'm not fiddling with it, and they made these up like the same day, I guess, and shipped them out. I got them really quick. I have my panel leaned up against the truck here because the connection right there got bad, and we just tied the wires together so that the panel lights on the side of it there would work, even though I never turn them on usually. But anyway, as I say, I disconnected these the other day and tested, and they all pretty well tested bad. And that must have been just a little bit of power in them, because it made the difference in it cranking and not cranking. But we're going to remove these and get all this loose. It's pretty much the same labor to remove one battery as it is 4. So I got a set of 4 over there, as I say, starting batteries. I mean, not starting batteries, but marine batteries. And so we're going to pull all this loose and get them swapped out and see how she does. So we just got to take all these off here. This is the ground side right here, and all these nuts here are 3/8 or starting batteries. So the new marine batteries come with new nuts on those, and those are 5/16. Be careful not to touch nothing when we get on the hot side over there, because the cable that crosses over to the other side over there is still going to be hot. So hopefully we won't get any fireworks going on here. And you can see this bus bar right here that Volvo uses, which works fine in a normal application for normal starting batteries. But as I say, this truck here is a little different setup than most, because most trucks does not have 8 batteries. Had somebody argue with me in the comments once on whenever I bought this truck about it having 8 batteries, that I was a moron, and that no trucks had 8 batteries. But yeah, okay, this one does, and I've seen others that did too. They're usually not mounted exactly like these are on, they'll be mounted in a separate box for the APU. But the way this one's done, they're all connected together, so they all start the truck and run the APU together. So if you were to run the APU too long, the truck would not start. So that's something you have to be mindful of. I've replaced the power inverter in this truck because the one that was installed from the factory went bad. So I just picked up like a Bluetooth power inverter from like Love's and put in, and it has a app on your phone that you can set it. They're set to automatically turn the voltage or turn the power off once the batteries get to a certain extent. And so it's supposed to keep you from getting stranded. But if you have weak batteries like these here that have gone bad, you can still get stranded. So whenever I noticed that the truck was starting to turn over slow, I knew I had a battery or 2 or 3 going bad. And so I went ahead and got some on order and got them picked up. And as I say, I had to order some cables and stuff. I was planning on doing all this at the end of the year and swapping both sides over, but didn't quite make it. As I say, these 4 batteries here were on the truck when I bought it. They were almost new, the January 2018 date. So it's 2021, so they are about 3.5 years old, I suppose, from the manufacturing date. Usually 2.5 to 3 years is about all I get out of them. Let's see what size it is. Not that one. I think it's the other size. It has a different size. Yeah, that'll be fun to get off. Get the impact wrench and get those off. We'll get these pulled out of here. It is some kind of hot out here today, I know that much. Yep, perfect. Figured that much. That's okay though. I have another rod and everything off my other truck. I think I've had to replace one of those before. I could be wrong. Maybe it was the other side that I bought rods for it. Yeah, I guess that's a different size. And so this comes off like that, and then the battery should just slide out, providing we can do so and make sure that these hot wires don't touch anything in the process. And we'll test these in a minute to see, make sure all of them are bad. I'm pretty sure they are, but we'll test them just in case. They might be used for something else. They won't be used for this purpose anymore. I think I'm going to go ahead and stick a couple batteries back in here. That way these cables don't drop down. I don't know which ones. Well, this one doesn't matter because it's going to the starter. The other side is the one that matters. And these here's the crossover cables, and I think they're okay. This is our little T thing right here. I'll go out here and get another one. I got another one of these. That one there is no good. And here is our other rod here. Hopefully this is the correct nut for that. It's nice to have a parts truck sometimes. You'll just go out there and get stuff like that off of it without having to try and go find something uptown. The only place you can get those are from the Volvo dealer. Cables there, and this is our new battery, or one of them. That should set just like that. And we'll pull the cap off. These things are heavy. It is entirely too hot to be doing this out here right now. Hopefully we'll get a little more life out of these and it'll work well. Cables here, the other one's tied from the other side. Okay. And let's see if we can get these back on here. Get them situated before we get our wires on there. Whenever you have the bus bars on there, the bus bars, you have to install those ahead of time, and they kind of keep the spacing on these batteries or whatever. So anyway, that should work there. We're going to put a little anti-seize on those, so hopefully it won't freeze up. I mean, get a little more anti-seize at some point. It gets down in the container like that, it gets a little hard to get to. Still some in there, but and yeah, these will spin down there if you're wondering. If it's a little corroded or something. Okay, got it. I'm going to put some dielectric grease on the connections as I put it together. This should help keep the corrosion down there. Really more important on the positive side, but I'm going to put it on both sides. That way, hopefully, we'll be good. So I'm kind of hot out here, I know that. I turned on the fan, but you guys wouldn't be able to hear me. So, I'm suffering a little more than I should have to here. So I want to get these over here hooked up first because they're still hot because they go to the other side. And I don't want them touching on anything that they don't need to be touching on and shorting out. So that's why we're going to do that. There'll be a lot of cables on this thing here, I believe. Need to put a little bit of that dielectric grease in between these cables too. Keep corrosion from going in between them. Hopefully. That's right, cat. These cables here are 9 inches long, in case anybody was wondering what length seems to work best. That's kind of what I came up with. It was 9 inches. And that is center of the hole to the center of the hole. You can obviously order them longer or shorter if you want. I measured and it looked like 9 inches would work pretty well, so that's what I went with. I disconnected all the ones on the other side and tested them last week, so they should be okay, I would think. The ones that were testing bad was on this side, and as I say, even if I got a bad connection on 1 or 2 of them, you know, for sure I didn't get a bad connection on all 4 of them, so definitely had some bad on this side, and as I say, the truck wouldn't crank. So it's not a matter of if I had some bad on this side, it's a matter of how many. So that's why we're swapping all these on this side. And these are 555 or 565 cranking amps, something like that. 690 marine cranking amps at 32 degrees. The others I'm taking off. I'm not sure if it shows on there. But generally, the starting batteries are around 1,900 to 1,000 total cranking amps, with about close to 1,100, 1,050. Some of them are even 1,100 on the cranking amps at 32 degrees. So now I need to put my air tank drain valves. I don't even think those are standard valves. I think those are come off a doggone Freightliner or something. And I don't like them because they leak. But I just need to put that up there some way. Let's see if she starts. Sounds good to me. Let's go ahead and test these batteries here with a battery tester, and then I'll wrap this video up. I have a couple other small things there I'm going to do while I got the truck in here. Got a little light I need to fix a wire going to back there on my panel lights there, even though that it's not required for those to work because they're just additional lights. This Foxwell battery tester here that I bought for this, because I found that the little small load testers that you buy at the auto parts store is not really that great for these bigger batteries, because they only load test at 100 amps. So some of these batteries will pass a 100 amp load test and still be bad. And I found that this here still can sometimes give a bad reading, and it's usually because the connection is bad. I found if you get on the lead part, you usually get a good reading. It does not like to read if you just get on the stainless stud. That's showing 9.98 volts right there, so I can already tell you that that battery is not going to pass anything. It's only showing 10 volts, but we'll go ahead and see what it shows. I'm sure it's going to say replace the battery. Yep, replace the battery. Measured 35 cold cranking amps. As I say, truck barely cranks when I brought it in here. That one's showing 12.78, 12.8. That one may test okay. Huh, 190 cold cranking amps. 12.7 volts, but it's only 190 cranking amps. I'm going to test that again, check the connections, test it again just to make sure. Yep, same measurement. She bad. I'll put a link to the description if I can find it. Oh yeah, I'm measuring 37. I don't know if you can see that. 37.3 volts. Yeah. I think all these are going to be bad. 45 cold cranking amps. So yeah, something's definitely went wrong in that battery. $12.7 volts. Indicates fully charged. Just because it's fully charged doesn't mean it's got cranking amps. Nope. 69 cold cranking amps. So all these batteries together ain't giving 300 cranking amps. that's why it did not want to start. So, and you have to have these disconnected, test them individually. It's a little harder on the vehicle, trying to reach up in there and make sure you have a good connection and everything. And so, that's why I wasn't 100% sure if all 4 of them were going to be bad, or just 2 or 3 out of the 4, or whatever. But it looks like all 4 of them are bad. You can definitely tell the difference in the way it started too, because it barely started when I pulled it in the shop. And ones on the other side tested good last week, so we'll let them roll for the time being. So that wraps this up. My camera is just about overheating and it's just about dead, so I'm going to wrap this video up, and I'm overheating. You can see I am covered with sweat. I'm going to go in the house and cool off for a bit and get something to drink, and then I'll come back and finish up my little light project here and everything. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys in the next video.